Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tuam, and today I'm going to talk with Bahador Alast. You probably know him from his interesting YouTube channel with the same name. Now I'm waiting for him to join the chat so that we can start our conversation together. Hi everyone, welcome. So let me check who is in the room. Hi everyone. So we are waiting for Bahador. Yes, there he is. Let me send the request. I've sent the request. Hey Bahador.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Great, thank you. Thank you so much.
You are in Toronto now, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, that's right.
So how is everything going there?
Good. Things are, still same as before. We're still in the same sort of lockdowns all the time, but we're making the best of it.
Yes, I hope it will be gone soon so that we can get back to our normal life. But
At least the
Ba
weather is much nicer, so that's good.
yes. So Bowder, would you please tell us about yourself and about your channel briefly?
Sure, yes. So this channel, as I'm sure you know, but for other people, we started this about 3 years ago, and it just started off as a hobby, and it still is just a hobby that I do on the side with my full-time job. But it it just started to grow and grow, and what basically was the initial idea was to find common words between languages as a means of bringing people closer together. So sort of just started off with a few friends and then friends of friends and friends of our relatives. People kept telling each other to be a part of it as it grew. And eventually it grew so big that the people who live in Toronto, a lot of the subscribers that I didn't know myself, I've never met them in person, they started to be a part of it as well. So, and now that we're doing it due to the pandemic, we started making videos online. So it's just people from all over the world who are participating. And we've had so many different languages, so many different cultures, many different people have been a part of this. So yeah, that's basically how it started and how it's going right now.
And why are you interested in that?
Uh, Cultures and languages, they've always been something that I've been interested in. It's not part of my career. It's just a passion, right? It's something that I always enjoyed. And I used to travel quite a lot. Like I used to go to different countries and I would come across this a lot. Like I would run into this often where I would hear people speaking a certain language and they would use a word that I recognize. And the first time it was always very intriguing. It's like, I'm interested to know why. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized the history and the reason behind it, whether it would be languages from the same family or there would be just loan words from one language to another. So yeah, that's basically what got me really into it. And then just around 3 years ago, the idea was sort of something that came up with myself and Shahzad, my wife. And we were thinking, what this would be very interesting to because we'd always talk about it. Like I would tell her, I'm like, did you know that they use this word in this language or they use this? And we're like, oh, yeah, it'd be very interesting if we just kind of sit down and do this as a game, right? So yeah, that's basically how it went. Like that's how it kind
So
of like
was there any other YouTube channels that inspired you for this?
not YouTube channels, but I would say other people inspired me. Just reading about things online. I wouldn't say there was because there are a lot of videos related to languages and they're very interesting. Like, but the concept is different. Like I didn't really come across anything like this. But I would say like it was mostly what really inspired me was the what I would run across, like what I would hear in other languages when I'm listening to someone speak another language, and I would recognize a word. I think that is what really got me interested in it.
And do you watch similar YouTube channels these days that are very similar with your channel?
Um, I don't. I watch channels that are similar, yes, for sure. A few of them have actually been they've been participants in our videos as well. So yeah, there are quite a few other channels, and I think there are even more starting now. Like I see similar videos, I see people doing similar content. So and yeah, I wish them well, and I'm interested in seeing what else other people can produce.
So people in the chat are saying hi to you. They say you have wonderful personality. They
Oh,
are saying hi from Philippines, Pakistan, and Russia, mostly, as I can see.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Bahador, actually, about June 2020, I wanted to start something because I was bored during pandemic. And
Mm,
like you, my full-time job is not even closely, I mean, even remotely close to what I'm doing now. But I was thinking, okay, I want to do something similar to your channel. But when I look up for it, I understood that your channel exists and also Dating Beyond Borders, and they are doing something similar. So I was thinking, okay, what should I do? Then I started these live shows for international
mm,
viewers. But
yes. Yeah.
and I think when we find a channel which already exists and they are doing a good job, we should support it instead of competing with that.
Of course, no, and I do the same thing. That's the reason I've come across people who do similar stuff or started doing something similar, and I've invited them to be uh, part of our videos, right? And I always promote their content as well. I promote their channels. I think it's great. Like I never view this as a competition. Like I think it's wonderful if people are doing the same thing, especially because I got into this since it's just a hobby, right? Like it's really just a passion, right? So seeing that other people have the same interest to the same extent and the same level as myself, I think that's wonderful. I really love that, and I love seeing that. And you mentioned the other channels. We have collaborated. I've worked with those channels as well. Dating Beyond Borders was one of them, but there are also other ones. Like if people go and watch our videos, there are at least I would say around 15 videos where the participants in them have their own similar channel or something under the same line. You're like it's not exactly the same, but they do similar work.
Yes, what you are doing is definitely interesting, finding common words in different languages.
Hmm.
But what's the goal behind it?
My main goal in the beginning, it was just a way to connect people, you know? It was just like, oh, like you bring two people from different backgrounds, they don't really know what they have in common, or they haven't really explored it, right? But there's just something about it. I always say, like, when you meet someone that you've never, like someone new, you've never met this person before, and you find out that they have the same taste as you in whatever, whether it's music or a certain activity you like to do. You just like something just clicks, you sort of connect with that person, and I find that that language is like the best way to do that because it's something everybody uses, and that's initially how it started. But as it grew, I realized that it has an even bigger positive impact where a lot of people who are watching it opens their minds to something that they never really thought of before, or maybe they had certain negative views or they were prejudiced towards a certain group or something like that. And I get messages like that, and I realize that it does have that impact as well, where uh, that sort of positive impact aside from the connection between two people.
So what you're saying is that they find this connection because they find some similarities with
Yes, exactly. They find that automatically by seeing that you have something in common with someone, you just sort of connect with them, right? And I'm not saying like you become best friends overnight, but there's just something there. It just like brings you closer to that person.
yes, it's not like they are aliens anymore. Suddenly they become also a human being like us.
Absolutely, yes. So, and I think, right now what I'm trying to do with all the videos, right? It's not always the same. I'm trying different ideas as well. So the whole concept comes back to people coming together, right? And it's not just about similarities, but sometimes people who speak the same language in different dialects, there are certain differences, and exploring those differences is even more interesting sometimes because that also learning about other people, like it doesn't have to be exactly the same. You don't have to have the exact same words. Just the idea of learning about this language or that culture or this group or this nation, I think that is a really great way for people to get to know each other and come closer together.
Yes, I'm glad that you mentioned about also the differences because also differences can bring us closer. Because I assume
Yes,
that as a Persian, suddenly you see something in another culture which is very attractive for you.
for
So
sure.
this also can bring you closer to that nation.
Absolutely. And I always say, like, when people say, well, what do you identify with culturally? Are you Iranian or Canadian or this or that? And I'm like, I've been to over 60 different countries, right? I've traveled all over the world, and I don't define my culture by one specific nation. Sure, there are a lot of great elements about Iranian culture that I consider to be a part of my identity, but I also would say the same thing about Canadian culture and about so many different cultures because you come across something that you like or something that you consider as positive, whether it would be from, somewhere in Southeast Asia, South America, and Europe or Africa or anywhere in the world. And I would say, okay, this is great. Like this certain cultural element or something, I would consider to be a part of my culture now, right? So
Exactly.
seeing the differences, learning about the differences, also a wonderful thing.
Exactly, I strongly agree. And people are saying hi from Turkey, Morocco, Indonesia. Thank you guys for sending love to Bahador. They're already, I think, most of them your followers.
Yeah, I was not looking at the bottom, but yeah, seeing some of the names, I definitely recognize
From
quite a few
India
of them.
also. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
So, Bahador, you've been in many countries as you mentioned before, and I also observed a playlist in your YouTube channel named Documentaries, and it was very interesting for me. So, would you also explain about that?
So this channel itself, uh, and that's why it carries my name because I never thought about it as being anything big. I never was planning to do something huge. It was just basically my personal account. And as you can see before these language videos, while I was traveling in a few different places, I just ended up making very short documentaries based on my own personal interests and things that I was trying to explore and learn about. So yeah, I think there are four or five.
Yes, there are a little of them.
Yeah, so I basically focused on certain topics and subjects that I was interested in while I was traveling, and then later on, it was sort of like okay, we got into these like language videos, and it's sort of different, It sort of like took a shift from what I was doing before, which was that was for fun. That was just like doing it as a hobby as well, but I wasn't consistently doing anything, right? Like every few months I was making one of these documentaries and I wasn't everywhere. Like I traveled to so many places and never even considered doing that, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
like
are you going to make more videos like that because they were also very interesting?
oh thanks. I'm happy you enjoyed those because I think most people who watch the channel never really look back at those ones. But yeah, I would. I mean, the day we can start freely traveling again, it would be great to do something like that again. I would love to, yeah. And in
And
fact, I would explore new ideas which relate to languages and something that we're doing under the same lines, but I would like to go and explore making videos like that overseas.
oh, that would be great. So you have some plans in your head that there will be some updates in your channel.
Yes, yes, for sure. I mean, what's keeping us at home a lot nowadays is the pandemic and also having two little kids. It's not like before where I would just, you know, when I was done work, and I mean a lot of people know that my job is I work for as an engineer in a remote mining company and it's like a fly-in fly-out operation. So I had a lot of time off in the past. So
And what was
half the
your
month off
major
basically.
exactly in engineering?
It's mineral engineering. And
Oh, that's so
here
cool.
at the University of Toronto, it's So with civil engineering, they're basically within the same department, but it's technically it's mineral engineering. Yeah.
And you're very interested in linguistic, obviously. So why not you didn't study linguistic?
Uh, I just, you grow up uh, in an Iranian household, and
I get you.
you were sort of like persuaded to go into like becoming a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, and I wasn't forced. Like I wouldn't say that it was ever anything that was like my parents said you have to do this, but being good at math and seeing that engineering had a very good like I foresee something very positive in the future in terms of my career. And I was like, well, I like languages, I like cultures, I like traveling. I can do all of that on the side, and I did, right? That was just my hobby.
Yeah, that's great. Also, I can relate to you because it sort of happened to me. So, as I
Mm,
mentioned, in June I started this. This is also my hobby, far from my job. But also in my major, the same thing happened. That I got PhD in mathematics, but I'm doing research in psychology. So people are
mm.
asking me why you didn't study psychology. So I would answer exactly the same way you did.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I'm happy about it, right? Like I like to have my career and I also have this on the side as something I enjoy doing.
And Habiba asked an interesting question. How many languages do you speak, Bahador?
Fluently, like I don't like to claim that I speak many languages because I consider fluent, like being able to fluently speak, and that's only English and Persian because I can read and write very fluently. I can speak like as a native speaker but
But if we put
in terms of,
threshold for intermediate, what would you say?
I'm familiar with several languages, especially Iranic languages, as well as languages which have been closely so there are a lot of languages that people like if they're not familiar with this they would think okay like for example Turkish, Persian, and Arabic, they share a lot of words in common, but these are languages in completely different families, and these are just words that for centuries and centuries of being next to each other, living side by side, they have influenced one another. I'm very familiar with Arabic in that sense, not just the words that are in common between Persian and Arabic, but just the language itself. I would say the same thing about Turkish. I would say, other Turkic languages, when I listen to them, I can understand quite a lot. I would never say that I speak them, or ever even claim that I do. But yeah, languages in South Asia, the languages of northern India and Pakistan, they've also had heavy Persian influence. So if you really learn the Sanskrit base of those languages and also combined with the loan words from Persian, I think a lot of Persian speakers can understand those languages or at least be able to pick up quite a lot from them.
And
So yeah,
Sylvia asked, do you understand Hindi?
I don't understand it, but if I listen, while listening to a conversation, I can definitely a lot of times figure out what is going on, just based on common words.
So there are lots of requests for you.
And
I think that you received also them in your comments on YouTube that people are asking to, for example, make a video for their own language, right?
yes, yes, I have a very, very long list of uh, future potential videos, right? And I'm trying to work through it in order. And also, there's also, you know, the list of people who want to participate. That's also a big one.
Yes, yes.
So I'm doing my best to involve as many people and do as many that I can. So hopefully in the future I'll be able to do as many of them as possible. But sometimes it can be difficult to manage.
And how do you choose your participants?
So I always say like I really don't look for any specific criteria except for you being able to speak the language fluently and having the interest, right? Like if you look at the participant in the videos, they come from all walks of life. Like, it's not age-wise, you have teenagers, you have people who are in their 50s, you have if in their 60s even, like it doesn't matter how old they are. It doesn't matter. I don't ask them questions about what their, I don't know, like political views are, because I see sometimes people are like, oh, you shouldn't bring this person because he's obviously got this political idea. Oh, I don't care. Like, this is not what the videos are about. For me, it's like, do you speak the language fluently? Do you have the interest to participate? And if you do, then I'm very happy to involve whoever is interested, right? Like, I'm
So
not.
how can they apply for it?
Send me a message on Instagram. That's the best way, because comments on YouTube, there's just way too many. It's impossible to keep track or be able to like respond to them. So yeah, messaging me here would be the best way.
So it doesn't matter if they are in Toronto or not, because these days you are also doing online.
Yes, yeah, it doesn't matter. Before it was people from Toronto, and interestingly enough, while we were recording videos in person, in 5 different cases, people actually traveled from other countries just to be in a video. So that's when you know someone is a dedicated fan, where they made a trip. Like most of them were from the States, but a couple other ones were didn't come here for that reason, but they had planned it in advance. They wanted to come to Canada, and they're like, well, I'm coming, so I should message you and be a part of this, right? So, but
Yes, and
nowadays it's different. Now we're doing them online, so anybody from anywhere in the world can be a
that's
part of
great.
it.
And I noticed that some of the guests keep coming. So is that any reason for that? Is that because viewers love them?
Since we started doing the online videos, a few of the previous participants from like when we were doing them in Toronto in person have come back, and that is because a lot of people have requested for them to come back.
Yes,
In-person videos, yes, there are some who it's like they have a big fan base and they always ask for them. So yeah, that's the reason some of them keep coming back.
I see. And Habiba also asked another interesting question. Some of her questions are even better than mine that I actually get made them ready for this. But she's asking that where are your most viewers from?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say based on, so the United States is always on top, but when it comes to like overseas, Turkey is always up there, India, Indonesia, the countries across North Africa and the Middle East, like Egypt, Saudi Arabia, quite a lot there. Across Europe, like definitely all across Europe, Philippines, um, Pakistan, Central Asia, quite a lot. Like it varies, but I can just say that Turkey and India and Indonesia are like always there. If someone said Russia, yes, Russia definitely. There are a lot of from Slavic countries too, not just Russia, but like Serbia, Poland, uh, all over really. So yeah, it's quite global, and it's not really like, because we don't focus on like one specific group or one specific uh, language family, right? So
Yeah, that's very cool. And what about the crazy comments that you may receive for some of your videos? Do you remember some of the interesting ones?
uh, I think there are always crazy comments. I mean, there are the people who turn a video that's just about something very nice into something very political and start fighting and arguing, and then there are people who make like accusations against you because of something they see in the video. Um,
Even you.
yeah, because I mean, they hear something they don't like, or they think that you're trying to do something. I really don't know what goes through people's minds sometimes, but there are a lot of assumptions about what you do. If you connect two people from these two countries, they're like, oh, uh, you were trying to do this. You were trying to achieve this political agenda. Like you see stuff like this all the time.
I see.
I, I've learned from a long time ago. I actually appreciate negative comments. Some people may find that very odd, but I think in midst of 99% of the comments being very nice and positive and good, you need that. You need the negative trolls, you may say, right? Because that's when you know you're growing, right? Uh, and it doesn't bother me. Like it really doesn't bother me. I laugh at most of the comments like that. It's just whatever, you know. You want to say something negative, go ahead. I don't really care.
So it means that, for example, if it was a war in history of two nations, then when you try make a video and inviting those two nations, then that's a problem sometimes for some
Yes,
people.
absolutely. Like some people just don't even want to see that. They would prefer that these nations always hate each other, that the people hate each other, and they're the ones that make it very political, right? Even though we don't talk about politics in the videos. Yeah.
Yes, and what they should understand is that maybe politicians are different from the people of those countries. So people of those countries may have their own belief system. That's why not if they want to talk with each other?
Yeah, exactly. I think like politics always there, right? Like I even say like I don't get into politics in the videos, but I know for a fact, based on what is posted on social media by the people who participate in these videos, we often have different views when it comes to politics. But that's not what the video is about. Like I don't agree with them on this issue or that issue, but we're talking about languages, we're talking about cultures, we're talking about something that connects us. We're not arguing or talking about politics ever in any of them.
Exactly. That's also one reason that I love your videos because it is in cultural level, and you don't care what's happening in each country. You're just focusing on people and their culture, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's really that's the message, right? That's what we try to do.
Yes, and how did it feel that you have, for example, now more than 200,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, and I think this is just I really like if you asked me 3 years ago, I never thought it would even grow this much. And you know, continuing to do this as a hobby, as just something for fun, uh, it's great. It's wonderful to see, and I hope to keep it going for a very long time, on the side of my job and life and family and everything else. So I really would have never expected it to grow to the level that it has.
Yes, and some subscribers are claiming that they are with you since the beginning. And how does it feel to have such loyal
I
subscribers?
really, really appreciate that, and I try my best to connect with them as much as possible. Somebody actually sent me a message and says, I can't believe that for someone who has such a large channel, you actually reply to everyone. And I may not be able to respond right away, but yeah, I do my best. I think I do, I actually think I do a good job because some people tell me like, I can't believe you responded to me. And I'm like, well, why not? If I can find the time, then yeah, I'm happy to do so.
Yes, I think also that's another reason that they love your channel because of your personality. That you are very humble, you are very
Thank
kind, and
you.
it totally reflects in your videos.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope
Yes,
so.
because in most of the YouTube channels, as soon as they get 1,000 followers, even thousand, then totally they forget who they were before that.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I think it's great to engage with subscribers to talk as much as you can. So yeah, that's what I always try to do.
So, what's your strategy to remain in top in this category?
So I would say just keep going and coming up with new interesting ideas. Like I have quite a few different ideas in mind right now. Some of them I'm already doing research on. Some of them will require some work. I'll have to find people who speak them. I have ideas about languages which are no longer spoken, but like they're not spoken as a day-to-day language, but some people speak them. I want to be able to bring those and see compare them to languages which are close to them but are actually spoken today and see how well they can understand each other. Something like that. Yeah, like I'd be interested in doing like, you know, content like that.
And someone in the comments said that you even inspired her for her thesis. and that's really
Really?
cool.
Oh, yes, yeah. Actually, that is not the first time I've heard that. There have been a few cases. There's been a case, for example, one of the guys who participated in the video, he actually used a couple of my videos for his thesis. There was one case where one of the participants in the video, he got a job offer, and he actually got a job through the video because somebody contacted me, and they're from like a big television network, and said, this person, we'd like to contact them. And he was so happy, he was so thankful because now he has a job with that TV network. So there are a lot of interesting cases like this for sure.
Well, that must feel great that you feel that you are inspiring people like that.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear. It's really great to see.
And by the way, have you ever been in Cyprus before?
I have not, but I've been very close because I've been to both Greece and Turkey. So I next time I should just hop over.
Yes, yes, that would be wonderful. And especially if you come by here, we can meet in person, and that would be lovely. I can
That
also
would,
introduce you to people that they can be in your uh, one of your YouTube channel. But Greek people and Turkish people in Cyprus, they can maybe participate. But I hope
yeah.
they don't worry about the political issues again, as you mentioned,
No,
because they
yeah, I
had a
mean,
war too.
we did make a Greek and Turkish video, and I'm very, very happy to say that the positive feedback from that far exceeds the negative. I mean, I think the negative is just so minuscule compared to how much positive came from that video. It's been watched quite a lot, and I would say most of the people have something very great to say, both sides. So I would hope that in the future it can always be like that.
Yeah,
And
that would be
a
great.
lot of people have reached out to me, like the people who are subscribed to the channel, who watch it, and they really thank me for that video. So I would love to do similar stuff like that and see it have that sort of impact.
That's cool because Cypriots also have their own accent and sometimes
Yeah.
their own words comparing to Greek and Turkish people. So that would be also one interesting topic, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, that would be great. Yeah. And
And
yeah, no, go ahead. It's fine. I
and
was just gonna
Bahador,
say
by the
it
way,
would be really wonderful to do a comparison with Cypriot Greek or
yes, that would be very nice.
accent.
And Bahador, let's do something fun. We have a challenge in our page named Crazy Eyebrow. We try to pull one eyebrow up, one down. Can you do that?
Like
Oh,
this.
that's cool. But what about the other eyebrow?
I don't think I can do that one.
Yeah, that was challenging, I see. And by the way, during the videos that you made, someone told you that your name is similar to some specific word in their own language.
Yes, actually, a variation of the name is used it's used in Hindi, in Urdu, in also used in Turkish and Turkic languages. Just pronounced a little bit. It's not pronounced exactly the same, but it's very close. It's basically the same name. So yeah, like they use the name in Turkey, they use the name in India, in Nepal, in Pakistan, in many different countries actually. So
And what about the
Azerbaijan.
words which are similar to your name, but they have different meaning?
So the meaning usually is like a hero or a warrior or something under the same line. So and in some languages it's actually used in order to describe a hero, in order to describe someone like that, right? But in Persian we don't use it that way. It's just a name, right? Like if you want to say someone's a hero, you don't call them Bahador, right? But in other languages it is. It's actually used that way.
I see. And what about words which are not the name? For example, they have totally different meaning. They are totally
Like
different word, but they are closer to your name in another language. Have you noticed some of them?
no, what do you mean? Is there one in specific?
For example, in Russian, we could say pomidor is very close to
Oh, like
Bahador.
tomatoes in Russian. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
pomidor
and
means tomato.
tomato, yeah. And even in Spanish there is trabajador,
Yes,
which means
working.
like, yeah, hardworking. Yeah. So yeah, I have come across that in South America. People have said that when I introduce
Salvador,
myself.
yes.
Yeah.
And for in my case, actually, money, for English, it's money, money. And
Yeah.
for Spanish mano.
Yes.
So mano means
Yeah.
hand. That's also close. This is also
And
an
I
interesting.
think money in Filipino means peanuts or some. I don't know. Somebody can. I don't want to say something and be wrong, but it does have a meaning like that. Yeah.
Okay, at least the name of fruits and nuts are good enough
Yeah.
not to be bad words. And
Yeah.
Gueltepe says that pomodoro in Italian we call for pomodoro for tomato.
Oh, yes. And you know, it's interesting because pomodoro for tomatoes is actually used in Iran as well. In Gilan, they use it for tomatoes. Yes, like a lot of people don't know that.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
And Yorgo said in Greek, money money means very fast. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Oh,
So
there you go.
that's
Yeah.
that's supposed to be good, I guess.
Mm.
So, Bahador, I know that you're busy, you have so many things to do, but I would like to thank you for joining me today. It was such an honor. Would you like to add something?
My pleasure. I'm very happy. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched this or is watching or will be watching it. Keep sending me your messages, your requests, and as we were saying before, I respond to people as much as I can. You know, it's very funny. I have a funny story about one of the subscribers, and he lives in Iraq, and he was telling me, he was talking to me a few weeks ago, and he was like, I was talking to my friends because he's like, oh, everybody watches your videos here. And I was like, yeah, I was talking to Bahador, and he told me that he's going to do this. And he's like, my friends were just like, no, shut up. You know, he would never respond to you. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, you should go show them my message so that they believe you, because I actually do my very best to respond to as many people as I can. So
But I guess their requests are very high these days because you have so many subscribers.
yes, yes, but I will add it to my list and try to get to it at some point. So, and not even just about requests. If they have a question, I'm very open to having conversations with people when I have the time.
That's great. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Bahador. Say hi to Shahzad and the kids.
For
And
sure. Thank you.
we
Thank you.
we wish you all the best for your channel and you in the future.
Thanks so much. It was my pleasure.
So see you, Bahador.
Take care. Take care. See you. Bye.
Hodafez. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.